So here we are. Uh, Day to night composite using Photoshop, and I'm excited to explain or how to give to you some general tips on how to do this kind of thing. And this is gonna be my first narration, so please go easy on me. And I'm kind of a bit nervous and excited at the same time. And I hope I could explain this easily and try not to be complicated. Alright, so on this scene, I used a new stock resource in order for me to create a day to night composite. As you can see here, I'm using an abandoned place so that it will make more very dramatic. And as you can see here as well, I'm currently cutting out some details so that I can play around with some elements using pen tool, of course. And as you can see here as well, I used a brightness and contrast so that I can easily see the edges so that I can cut it out. The window has too much exposure from the sun, so it's very hard to cut out. So I use in order for me to show the forest as well is, of course, by cutting out the window. So this is my overall plan. This concept originally in my mind, I want to have a scene which an abandoned place sitting in nowhere, like it's in the forest, ruined for a very long time. So yep, here we are. Okay, one of the main tip that I can give you is, in order for you to create a day to night in a very simple way, is by using brightness and use saturation. And as well, if you know how to play around with colors, you can also play around with color balance. I lowered the brightness of the original photo, and I lowered the hue, I lowered the saturation of the original photo as well, because if you observed in reality, during at night, the colors are dull, not too colorful, unlike during days, right? So what I had in mind is I lowered the brightness so that it will be darker, and as well the hue saturation so it could be more colorless, because that's how it is during night, right? So once you apply these things, it's gonna be gonna have a big difference with your artwork. So as you can see in our video, I used that three effects in order for me to create the base day to night composite. And yep, and then after that, when I realized that I think this scene is already a good concept to play around with, I've been painting a lot of details, like here, like adding some plants or some grasses all over it to add the feel of being abandoned in a very dark place. So it's very for me, this is kind of a bit hard because this idea was on the spot, and I just if I can tell you guys, I've been sitting around like 1 to 2 hours thinking, what should I do, what should I offer for you guys? And then suddenly an idea popped up in my mind, and I downloaded from new stock and play around with it, and then here it goes. It is the one that you are watching right now, and I really didn't know what I'm going to come up with. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of flaws here, not too perfect, but you know the essence of how to create this scene. It's the most important that I wanted to show you guys. It's very simple actually. It's more like playing around with brightness, hue saturation, and color balance, and yeah, and everything will follow. I mean, don't forget to use some references as well, because it's gonna be a big part on creating any concepts that you like. Because on this one, I remembered I used a reference, an abandoned place as well, with the same color palette and the same color theme. So what I had to do, since I had the base concept or base color, I started to play around with it, like painting some grass, painting some plants on it. So yep, I tried to be creative over here, but I really didn't know what I'm doing. As you can see here, as of the moment, I'm trying to play around as well with some photo, trying to see if it's gonna work with the current concept that we have. As far as I remember, I've been thinking like changing the ceiling or changing some details, and yep, there comes a time that some images doesn't don't work. So I try to scratch it out and try to play something new, and I realized it doesn't work. So yeah, I tried to do a different way. I tried to play around again with some uh, plants, some to add some mood over it, like to give the feeling of being abandoned. It's really fun, and something that sometimes that after the concept or after the art that you made, or after I did something, I realized that uh, did I do this? Oh heck, it's so wonderful, it's so beautiful. I couldn't believe it myself as well, but I didn't know the struggle. It's really hard to play around, playing from scratch. Yeah, matte painting, as you can see here, and yeah, guys, don't forget to use mask. It's very helpful, especially if you're trying to play around or trying to see if it's gonna work or not. Because if you directly use erase tool, and I think it's gonna be a mess. Unlike by using mask, you can play around with you can turn it back and turn it back off. As you can see here, I did it a lot of times. So here we are. I figured there's an image that works better or much properly on the scene. So I'm gonna put it over here, and I'm gonna use mask again and paint a little bit of it so it blends well. And look how beautiful it is. I really love how it looks like. It really fits the scene. So just a little bit of touch, a little bit of painting on the mask does the job. Play around by hue saturation. Oh guys, just a little bit, a little tip again, don't use over by doing some kind of this stuff, don't use over saturation. Just a little bit color of it so that it will catch the feeling of being in a night scene. I'm trying to find what works best here. Colors, and I think I'm gonna go to get some lighting over for some colors. Okay, so I decided to put some colors on it, a little bit only, so that it will attract the eye as well. There's another thing. I realized that this photo or this concept, it would be a nice to have a little bit of depth of it, like more like a foggy one. So I decided to make the door, as you can see here, which the door is open. I'm gonna make it look like or add a depth. It's gonna create some mood. Yep, as you can see here, it's not perfect yet, but trying to work it out. On the first place, I wanted to add some ghosts, but I think it's not necessarily. So I'm just what important is I'm gonna show you the simple way or simple process on how I did it, and also as well, levels play a big part of doing this thing. It added a depth, it added some details as well. So yep. Okay, so here we are trying to play around with it, trying to look nice, more like I'm trying to make it more like foggy. Yep, in terms of colors, since we're doing some lighting, I think color, having a bit of color is okay, but not too much. Yeah, a lot of playing around on it, trying to make it beautiful. trying to make the night doesn't look like a day. I think it's getting great. Yep. I think it's added a bit of the depth that I was talking about earlier. Yep. I think so, but I think it's not enough. It's a bit of struggle for me as well. It's not that easy, but just a little bit patience, guys. I wonder if I could put some wolf over here to make more dramatic. It's really hard uh to blend this over, so there's a lot of back and forth. Yep. I wish I could done this very fast. Alright, I think it's gonna work for now. So I try to see if I can play around with colors again to add the gradient map, to add more feeling on it. You know, gradient map is actually very helpful for me as well. I think I'm gonna teach you on the next video that I'm gonna show you guys. But for now, I wanted to show you the process of this one. Yep, a little bit more plants or grass on it to add more apocalyptic vibe on it. So don't forget, guys, brightness, hue saturation, color balance. I think when you get this tree, everything you're able to apply this in every artwork or every concept that you are playing around with. Okay, so this photo will be available on NeoStock. We're gonna put the link on the description so that you can play around with it. And when you apply the things that I said, like adjust the brightness lower, adjust the hue saturation lowered, and play around with color, I think that's gonna be it, and then everything will follow. A lot of experiment, and you're not gonna get it I mean at the first place, but along with practice or playing around, that's how I did it. A lot of playing around, a lot of trials and errors. So what important is I showed you guys the simple way on how I did this. Okay, so here we are. I'm adding some lighting on the artwork to add some more of the details, to add some of mood. And yeah, as you can see here, I'm trying to put some ray of light, and I think this is gonna be good because I think what I'm thinking was a moon. The moonlight is going through it. Really adds a mood, right? Even myself, I can't believe that I did this. Because this concept was just popped up in my mind out of nowhere. So yeah, I'm adding more of lighting from the other room. Yeah, because lighting is everything for me. That's for me because I really love to play around with lighting, especially with colors as well. And as you can see too, I love dark things. I love dark artworks as well. It's just the cover industry really requires such oversaturated covers or oversaturated artworks because it attracts the eye. But on this one, I try to be more muted, a little less bit of color, and yeah, I think the lighting works for now. I will try to play around more of it. Yeah, this is the very fun part of the concept, like retouching, because since the concept base is done, I'm trying to just retouch some areas to make it more look beautiful. Levels, yeah, trying to play around with depth, trying to play around with it, as well, trying to put some ray of light. I'm trying to make this work. Trying to blend it more. It's very sharp. As you can see here, the edge of the light is very sharp. So try to use Gaussian blur and try to make to see if it's gonna work out. And as well as you can see here, I used mask so that I can play around with it. In case something went wrong with my edit, I can easily go back. I use the levels so that the details won't be messed up. So levels actually is a balance tool for me in terms of clarity, depth, and everything else. Because if you use curves over here, it's gonna be very strong and it's not gonna work. So try to use levels first in any artwork that you are doing, or maybe it's just me. There's a lot of ways actually, but my recommendation is try to play around or practice with levels. It really does the job. It helps me a lot of time. So I try to paint it manually and it's not working out. Try to make it easy, not too much and not too exposed. So playing around with gradient map to add more mood or theme on it. I'm actually on the retouch phase since the basic concept is done. I think it's everything else is done. I'm just retouching it and try to make it look nice, trying to see if there's something that I could add, especially this one, another plants on it again to add more apocalyptic vibe again. A lot of experiment, right? It's really part of the game. You should try and see how it works. If it doesn't work, and then maybe try something else, like what you have seen on this video. I'm trying to see if something's gonna work, because I really wanted to change the window on the left side. It doesn't look like apocalyptic for me, so I use another image or a matte details so that I can paint on top of it. Yep, so I think here it goes, and we're almost done. Just trying to see if I can add more of it. So sometimes my mind tells something else, like, hey, play around with this again, add some details, add some colors. But if you overdone it or you've done it too much, it's gonna ruin the artwork. Sometimes less is perfect, and I don't overdo things too much, because it's gonna ruin the artwork. Because it's also a case-to-case basis. So yep, if you have the eye, if you think the artwork is good, and then you can call it done. And as you can see here, just a little bit of retouch for the color. Okay, so guys, I think this is almost done. I can call it a wrapped. And my only advice for you guys is that you can use or play around with brightness and contrast, use saturation or color balance to create a base concept or a base concept for a day to night composite, and then everything will follow. It's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope I made sense as well. So as I've told you, this is my first time doing the narration for the channel, so I hope you got something from me, and I'm looking forward to create more content or something like this in the future. If you like this video or want to see more of it, check out my ghostly Photoshop speed art. I use the same technique over here. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more. I think here it is for now. Goodbye. Thank you.